Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another great event here with Talkbase. I'm Valentina, your host, and I'm super excited to talk. Well, I'm not going to talk about this topic. We are going to talk about this topic because the tool that we are exploring today is one that I use on a daily basis. And I know there are so many more capabilities to this tool that I would love to learn. I just don't have time. So if you are like me, and are wanting to be more productive in your community building, this series is for you. We have events every single month throughout 2024. I had to think about what year it was then. That you've been requested by you. And today's a special one. If you use Notion or you're thinking about using Notion, you've always wanted to use Notion, I have the perfect expert. So Nicole, welcome to the series. I'm really excited for you to delve in. So I'm just gonna throw it right over to you so you can share with us your wisdom, knowledge, and honest opinions.
Thanks so much, Valentina. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. Let's hope this works. All right. All right. Can I get a thumbs up that you can still see my presentation? Perfect. All right. I'm using Google Slides, which is kind of a first for me. So let's just dive right in. So here is what we're going to overview today. So let's just start with like a general, what is Notion if you've never heard of the tool before. Then I want to talk about the like features of Notion and really how to use it within a community context, right? Finally, we will go into the demo. So I'll show you like an inside look into my community. So I'll describe a little bit about what I do and then what our community Notion page looks like, and then give you an honest review of the positives and the negatives of using Notion as a community tool. If there are any questions, Valentina, just let me know and feel free to interrupt me. So hi, I'm Nicole. It's really nice to meet you. Just a quick background so you kind of have context of who is talking. I am community manager here at Campus Founders since August of 2022. I think like most community builders, I kind of fell into community after doing it more informally and now having a formalized community role. I am located in Heilbronn, Germany. But of course, I'm not from here based on my very American accent. I actually grew up in Las Vegas, but I'm located in Germany since 2022. Some fun facts about me, so not just my job or where I live, but I am a classically trained percussionist. I love to travel, and I had so many travel pictures to go through to, pick for now. And the sparkle emoji is my favorite emoji these days. So that's a bit about me. What is also about me? I am not a Notion expert, let's say. I'm not paid by Notion. I'm not, let's say, an expert in all areas of Notion, but I am an avid Notion user and fan. I use it in my personal life. I use it in my work life, both in like behind the scenes to manage my own tasks, as well as publicly in our Notion, which is what we're going to talk about today. So the first, basics of Notion. So I would love to hear about how familiar you are with the tool so we can, hear about, are you a super user? Do you have a basic understanding of the tool, or have you never used it before, here in the chat? So while that's happening, I will just move on to, let's say, the basics of Notion. So these are just screenshots from the Notion page. What do they offer? They have an AI part that's, I would say, relatively new, about 6 months. I know that, or maybe a year, there was a wait list. It was a whole process to get AI for Notion. It was kind of exciting. They have a document system, a wiki system, project management, calendar. So basically what they promise is that they can help you organize your personal and your professional life. And that's definitely true. So I'll go into each of these features a little bit more in depth of like what that means. So who is Notion for? Here you can see how they distinguish all of their groups, from enterprise to small business to startups to personal, by team function. And really the whole point of me sharing this slide is just to show the huge diversity of the use cases for Notion. So I would say it's virtually impossible to go into all of the different functions, features, use cases of how you can use Notion, because there are so many. I would highly recommend checking out their website and diving into each of these, like how they position Notion for each of these functions based on what you would be interested in it for. But what's, I don't know, interesting to me and like doing my research and putting together this presentation was that actually using Notion for, let's say, more external public community use is not a huge use case that they're advertising on their website. So I'm really excited to share with you how we use Notion for our community. So diving right in, so what are the features and how do we use them as a community tool? So Notion has content. They have wiki docs that you can create, blog posts, all kinds of beautiful content. You can organize content by different headers and by different functions and organize things into different pages. There's 50 plus different types of content functions that you can use. Next, they have a database feature. They're filterable. You can add tags. You can have multiple views, kind of like in a project management board. And that's a really fun feature to organize a lot of data and be able to filter. They have templates. They have a huge template library that's a huge source of inspiration. And finally, they have a lot of sharing features where you can add collaborators and post your Notion page as an online like landing page. So how is this related to community? So I'm going to go through all of these again, but from a community lens. So for the content, you can use Notion to host your code of conduct. You can use it to present your channel directory. You can use it to onboard your members, or let's say give an overview for your members of your onboarding sequence. You can also post blogs or have written content on there. From the database perspective, you can have directories, whether that's a channel directory or a member directory or a content directory. Exactly, content database. You can also post your community benefits in a database function. You can, if you're a product community, you can also share your timelines or your product roadmaps here. From the template point of view, it's a great source of inspiration. It means that you don't have to start from scratch. If you are unfamiliar with the tool, there's that built-in content ready to go for you. And also, we all love community here, so it's really cool to see the community-built templates that Notion offers. And from a sharing feature, using it as a landing page allows you to view your pages as a web page. So it acts as a landing page for your community. And you can also add collaborators to edit if you're maybe a smaller community or have an advisory board or simply want to add your team to your Notion page. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an inside look, a demo at us as campus founders, so my community, and how we use Notion. So first, a little bit about us. Our vision as a company is to become the leading community of entrepreneurs and innovators within the heart of Europe, and to be the first choice for founders wanting to create an impactful future. So that's our mission statement. As you can see, community is kind of at the heart of that. The way we do this, we have a huge mission. So to break it down a little bit, we focus on 3 different pillars: startups, talent, and community. So for startups, we have an incubator and accelerator programs that support startups through their journey. We have talent programs to support, let's say, those future founders and bringing them into the world of entrepreneurship. We have co-working opportunities. So right now I'm located in our co-working space here in Heilbronn. It's kind of near Stuttgart in Germany, so really central Germany. And our co-working place here is really a platform for our members to work and to network with each other. And finally, community, which is the umbrella that ties all of these pieces together. So what does our tech stack look like to maybe position Notion within the things that we do in our community? So we host our online community part on Slack. We are a hybrid community, so we do a lot of things in person, but also have this online channel. We use Office R&D. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that as a co-working space management tool, since we do have co-working. We use HubSpot as our CRM, primary source of truth, tracking data, processing applications, email communication, all that fun stuff. We use Eventbrite for our event publishing and registrations. We use one of our member startups, which is a really cool success story, as our member directory platform. And finally, we use Notion as our landing page for all community benefits. So as you can see, there are so many tools here, and Notion really allows us to tie all of those tools together and offer kind of a launch pad for any sort of links or anything you need from the community. Exactly. So our Notion page is essentially a landing page. That's what I like to call it. So it's our internal page for members only. What I love about it is that it's super easy to edit, so I don't have to send a request to our website guy. I can't do WordPress or websites. So it's very easy for me to go in and edit. We are also a startup hub, and it has a little bit of this startup feel, which I think we as a company really enjoy and our startups really identify with. So it's really on brand for us. It's very customizable, so I talked about all of those different kinds of content. What I love about it is that everything exists in one place. So I can direct all of our members. You need any sort of resource or benefit from the community, and it's right there in this landing page. And finally, it publishes like a web page. So it's really easily accessible for our members. I don't need them to log into another tool to remember another password. They can simply click the link and be right there. So that's what I'm going to do now, is give you this inside look. So here is our page. This is live. This is exactly what it looks like. I hope all of the links are working. So basically, it starts with a nice welcome and a link to our community guidelines. So everything here is just linked out to different areas of our community. There is very little, let's say, made up content directly in our Notion. That's maybe phase 2. But phase 1 of creating the Notion was really to, like I said, create this landing page for us. So this, you can see, is just linked directly to our website for the guidelines. And then here is a prompt to get involved. So I broke it down by function. So there's so many different ways to engage in our community. So on Slack, here we have the code of conduct, which is just its own page here on Notion about the do's and don'ts in Slack directly. We also have our Slack channel directory. I've directly linked it in here, and here are the links to each of these channels within our Slack channel. Next, visit our Slack. So it's kind of a, let's say, an idiot-proof way to navigate through all things community. And again, this is just directly links to our Slack channel. Next, if members want to work in the lab, is there a question? Sorry. Nope. All good. Okay.
Sorry, I was not on mute for some reason.
All good. Next, if our members want to work in the campus lab, then here's all the information about our membership opportunities there. In a really, as you can see, a really beautiful designed way to present all of those benefits. Here is information that we put together about our campus lab, which is our co-working space. And finally, this really fun cheat sheet on things to do in the city here. So here you can see we embedded a video. And then these are all different links to different restaurants and things to do in our city, for example. So you can really see the wide variety of content that you can put in here, ranging from videos to written content to links to websites. Really, everything is possible in Notion. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I can essentially just say that all of these are either linked to our website or their own content that exists directly in Notion. I would say most of the links lead either to the website or directly to the Slack channel, but it really helps our members to navigate through all of the different offers we have within our community. And it makes it really easy for me when someone's asking for a startup resource or, hey, where does that benefit exist again? I can just send them directly to the Notion page and everything is here. If they're looking for mentors, I think this is a really important part of what we do. What's cool about this is that this is a list of our mentors, and here are these internal booking links. So this is not something that can exist on our website publicly, right? But it allows our members to have access to those mentors, to their full profiles, and then being able to take an action and schedule a meeting with them. A little bit about our programs, and then finally contact information here at the bottom, and then our imprint, which is required here in Europe. So yeah, exactly. So this is our like a demo from our product. I'm happy to talk more. If anyone has questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. Otherwise, I will go back to the presentation. So let's go over a review. What do I think of Notion? The good, the bad, and the ugly. So just to cover, like, what did we not cover in this presentation? So like I said, Notion can do practically everything. And I do not use all of the features of Notion. So what I did not cover is the integrations. There are so many different integrations. I only listed maybe some of the most applicable ones for the people here. Yeah, I have not started using the integrations. I would love to start, but they do exist. They are out there, even with Slack. But we did not cover that in the tutorial today. I didn't cover sharing permissions. So adding members as collaborators, being able to add people as able to edit, basically. So that was not something I covered. More so, we just talked about Notion as a landing page. And finally, I didn't cover Notion Calendar. So they just released their calendar function, I think less than a month ago. There's so much potential here. I'm very excited about it. Since they just released it, we haven't been able to play with it that much, but it does exist. It is there. It's integrated with all the Google products and with Zoom. So as of right now, not with Outlook or any Microsoft products, but I think it's in their roadmap. So from my personal experience, my honest review of Notion as a community tool, so the good, the bad, and the ugly. So what's great about it? I love that it's easy to edit. I don't need to have website experience. I can just go in and directly make it beautiful. I love that it displays as a web page again, so my members don't have to log into yet another portal, and just is a link that they can click on. I think the pricing is really friendly. They do it per user. I also my company is a nonprofit, so we get a nice, I believe it's 50% discount on the Plus plan. And finally, I love the template library that allows you to just be inspired by all the different kinds of designs. So what's okay about the tool, I would say, the sharing abilities, like I said, we didn't cover that. I think, because in full honesty, why I think it's just okay is I really do not understand the sharing permissions. Notion as adding collaborators, whether someone can edit something or just view it, or only edit one page, or can they edit all of the pages, is very complex to me. And as someone who uses Notion because of its simplicity, I think these sharing permissions they're there, but because of its complexity, I would just rank it in the okay column. And the customizability. So I love that it's customizable, but it's also still not white labeled to your company, right? So it still has this Notion feel to it, which I love, but maybe not every company would love that. And finally, the not so great, the meh, let's say, unfortunately, I can't lock access, right? So if I share this link to Notion, everyone has it. And maybe someone gets their hand on the link, or a member shares the link externally, and now someone that I don't know has the link or has access to our mentor list. So this is one downside. I believe you can change the link, but then that, I don't know, negates the positivity of it being just a simple click. They also have limited analytics. They do have analytics, and the more you pay, the better analytics you get in Notion. But I still think being able to track which members are viewing which pages would be really helpful. But in total, it's pretty limited, especially when you're using Notion as let's say, simply a landing page. And finally, it's still a separate tool. So it's still not one community tool where all of your offers are integrated into a single platform. Notion is just yet another link that then links to other links, which I love, and it definitely serves the purpose in our community, but it's still its separate tool. That's it from my side. Thank you so much, and we can open it up for questions. I would love to connect with all of you, so feel free to send me an email if you have questions, or connect with me on LinkedIn. There's the QR code. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you so much. First of all, we just want to say how pretty your slide deck is. It was lovely. It's very Notion-esque, if that's even a thing. I do have a few questions. First question is, what is one feature that you use every single day that you love? Like, it's like whenever you're thinking, okay, I need to start a new page, or you're like, okay, the first thing I'm going to do or create is this. What would it be?
I would say in my let's say more internal use of Notion than rather than the external use of Notion, I for sure use it to take notes. So every time I need to write something down, I want to remember something, I have an idea, I have my biweekly meeting with my manager. Oh, I need to write that down. I write it in Notion. So anytime I need to store notes anywhere, it's in Notion for sure.
That is a good idea. I don't know about anyone else, but I write a lot of things down physically. I have post-its of post-its. You know, when there's so many post-its stuck together and you look at them and you're like, what did I mean by this?
What I love
So
about Notion is you can write something down super quickly and then go back, organize it, make it really pretty. I think that's the best part of Notion.
I think my favorite feature right now, for some reason, I'm really attracted to these inline databases where you can have like the drop downs, the statuses, and it just keeps everything very organized. The only problem is you can make that database so big. There's so many options. That's what I love about Notion, is that it gives you so many options, but sometimes almost too many. Because then you get really into the weeds of it all and you're like, I've spent 2 hours creating a database and I've
Yeah.
not put anything in it yet.
Definitely. Erica, you brought up a good point. You said that you wish the new homepage feature was more customizable, and I think that's so Notion. So they're kind of a startup, I guess. I don't know if you would count them as a startup anymore because they've been around for what feels like a very long time now, but they're always coming out with new features. So like the calendar, like this homepage feature. And it's, I think, always building on each other, and they're very much like building on customer feedback, which I also really enjoy.
With that, I would love to know if you have a feature or multiple features that you would love to see come next that would really help you in your day-to-day.
So I would have said the calendar. We have accelerator programs within our company, and a year ago, when we launched our accelerator, the calendar was something that we were missing. We really needed, we used Notion as our landing page for our accelerator programs, and the calendar was missing. We really needed this integration. So now I guess I would say we're missing the Outlook integration with their calendar that they did release. But yeah, that was definitely needed. So I'm really happy to see that it came out.
Oh, good. Now, you mentioned a little bit about pricing was friendly. What do you know much about the pricing? Like, I mean, I'm a Notion user, but I've never paid for it. So I'm wondering, like, if you know anything more about, have you used both the free and the paid, the differences?
So they have three different tiers, or maybe four from what I understand. So obviously there's the free version. I think the pricing is also different. Like I showed this enterprise or small business. It's also different for nonprofits. They also have a startup offer. So they really customize their pricing. So I think that's what makes it so approachable. But it is per user from what I understand.
Interesting.
So I guess the bigger the company, then the more it doesn't make sense. So for our company, we only have a few of our internal team members who really use the Notion page. So it makes a lot of sense for us to pay. I think in their middle version is like €7 or dollars, not sure, per user per month. Which is pretty accessible when I think for us, we only have 3 users. But then it gets into how many collaborators on a page can you add? How many people can you edit? And then this is where, like I said, the complexity just gets beyond me, where I just can't be bothered to learn how it works, because for me, the simplicity of Notion is what draws me to it. And as it gets too complex, I'm like, I just don't even want to use it anymore.
Yeah, no, I feel you. So if there were anybody watching the replay or hearing this live that had never used Notion before and were like, right, after this, I'm going to sign up for a free account, what would you suggest they do first?
I would say it really depends on your use case of Notion, right? So for example, in my life, I use Notion in 3 ways. I use it for my personal use, so managing my personal finances and my own budget. I use Notion in my work life. For example, I have a database, like we talked about, of community resources. where I can like filter and tag all the different resources. And then finally, from a community perspective, maybe more externally for members. So depending on your use case, I would say there's like different ways to start. But if you were to use it from a community perspective, since this is community tools talk, I would really say if you don't have a landing page, if you're someone who uses Slack, for example, and there's no like, hey, welcome to our community, here's just a list of links, essentially a landing page that's more internal, I would build it out. I would put all of your benefits and everything that you want your community to know about in one page. I also just checked out the Talkbase Friends Notion page. And I think it's so funny. I doubt that you saw my community's page before you saw it. And there are so many similarities between them. We both have our code of conduct there. We both have our channel directories there, and events are listed there. So I think it's really cool that there are similarities across how communities are using Notion.
Yeah, and I think people like to see familiarity in a way, because there's a lot of tools out there and it can often look very different, and it can put people off sometimes of navigating through, especially if you have a landing page with multiple pages inside. Luckily, Notion is very simple. So I don't think it's necessarily an issue that if there's a lot of communities out there using Notion and the landing pages that they do look a little bit similar. I think that just kind of helps maybe bring more people to Notion. And then instead of them just being community members viewing the landing page, maybe they end up then creating an account and becoming,
Yeah,
creating their own community, their own landing pages.
definitely.
Good
And
question.
I also
Sorry.
think like depends on the vibe of your community, right? So
Mm,
like I said, we're a startup hub. So we love when we can do things kind of the startup way, very like quick and dirty, and iterate on things and just kind of get it out there and test and experiment. Talkbase also being a startup, it's got this startup vibe. And I think when it is a tool that kind of fits your vibe, then it's a great match.
yeah, no, definitely. I love this startup vibe. I don't like, it's very hard to explain what that is, but if you're working in it, you just know. Tiffany has a question. She says, do you utilize the Notion community at all?
So it's a great question. Let's say I wish I used it more, but maybe I also wish I understood how to use it more. So for sure, the template library, it's so cool to see all of the different use cases. You could lose, I don't know, months of your life just diving into how different people use Notion. I have checked out the community several times. So that was the way that I tried to inspire my own community landing page. Okay, community, or Notion, they're the experts. How does their community landing page look? And I think that Notion community is very based on member-led events and chapter-based events. And unfortunately, I'm in a city and a place where there's not a lot of in-person meetups happening. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to get involved with the Notion community as much as maybe I would like to.
Yeah, it is tough when you're trying to, do meetups, in-person meetups
Mm.
around the world.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I do feel like Europe, I'm based in London, we sometimes get a little bit forgotten. So yeah, I can definitely resonate with that.
I
Okay,
think the Notion community also like really tags leaders of the different chapters. And I'm sure that the leaders of these chapters have such a different experience within the Notion community as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, do we have any more questions? No. Okay, I'm going to leave you with one question. I asked this last time, but I feel like this is a good way to end. So if Notion was a superhero, what superpower would it have if you had to pick?
Oh
Tiffany's
gosh.
laughing, but I love this question.
I would say Notion is the know-it-all, the like knowledge wizard. Notion contains like all of so at least that's how we use it, right? So Notion contains all of the links, all of the content. Notion just knows it all.
I like that. I like that. And hopefully it can tell us it all so that
Yeah,
we can
exactly.
become amazing at Notion. All right. Let me just check. Erica shared a little wizard emoji in the chat. Well, Nicole, thank you so much for sharing everything about what you're doing with Notion for your community. I mean, there's so many use cases, as you said. You can use it personal, work related. It just helps you organize your life in general, because it can be very hard to separate them both, but also keep them organized at the same time. So Notion might be the tool for you if you are watching this. Give it a go, try it out, and let us know in the Talkbase Friends community how you get on. If you create a landing page, share the landing page so we can all take a look, and let's build our Notion pages together. Thank you, Nicole.
So much.
Now, don't forget, we have got events happening all throughout the year. Our next event is coming up next month, April 17th, where we will be talking about Figma. This was another tool that was requested by the community. So if you currently create designs for your community, or you're looking for a new tool to use to create various different assets, Figma could be the tool for you. So we're going to welcome Gareth Wilson next month to come and talk about that. I will grab the link and pop that into the chat now for everybody. And I look forward to seeing you there. Don't forget to join us back inside the Slack community. We'd love to hear how you're getting on with all of these tools that you're learning on a monthly basis. And from me, Valentina, and all the Talkbase team, thank you. And we'll see you again soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.